First, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. We have been doing domestic violence awareness kickoff for quite some time, and this crowd has considerably grown over the years, and I'm very proud of our city and very proud of our community, our county, for showing the support that we do show. Access has been in this county for a long time and been helping people for a very long time, and I'm proud to be here as a representative of the DA's office, but I'm also proud to stand up here with the women and men from Access and from Safe Home to stand and speak about our domestic violence victims. Oops, technical difficulty, sorry. Access would like you to know that being a victim of domestic violence can happen to anyone regardless of gender, race, age, socioeconomic status, or religion. In order to make the community aware of the services and resources that are available to victims of DV, Access York, a program of the Y, as well as domestic violence organizations nationwide, participate in October's National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The intent is to help the community recognize that domestic violence is a crime and to connect individuals in the community to work together toward ending the violence. They unfortunately asked me to MC, which is a big mistake because I have the microphone all to myself. You can't kick me out. And I'd like to make just a few remarks because I want you to recognize and understand how far this county has come. I'm very proud of some of the achievements that have been made in this county, and I want to share them with you in case you're not aware. Probably next month, but definitely before the year is over, this county will prosecute the first ever Jane Doe rape in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We are leading the state in that effort. Pennsylvania, much to my chagrin, recently became the 50th state to recognize that victims of sexual assault deserve expert testimony to explain counterintuitive behavior. We became the 50th state to allow that, and while it took us a long time, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm very proud of the state for doing that, and I very much look forward to the first case that we have here in the DA's office that will involve expert testimony. I'd also like to issue a few challenges today. Now that I have the ears of everybody, including some of our elected officials who I very much would love to thank for being here. Commissioners, you have always been at these events, and your continued support of not only our efforts but our awareness moments has been instrumental in changing the atmosphere of this county and in continuing to advocate for change, and I thank you for being here. Likewise, Chief Cayley, thank you, sir, for being here. Where do we need to go from here? I remember having a conversation with now Judge Ness, who was at that point running a campaign, and he asked me, well, in a perfect world, where would you go? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say publicly, not for the first time, but for the newest time, that I would love to see us embrace the Family Justice Center model. I think that this county deserves it. I think our victims deserve it. And I'd encourage you to go home and Google search Family Justice Initiative. Read what Casey Gwinn has been doing in California and bringing to a lot of other states in this country. I'd like to see it brought here to York County. I think we deserve it, and I think it's time. Additionally, we allow expert testimony for sexual assault victims. How about domestic violence victims? There are a lot of counterintuitive behaviors that I think juries need to have explained to them by experts. I think it would increase successful prosecution rates. It would hold men accountable for their battering, and I think it would provide another tool in the fight for justice for these victims. And I'd encourage each and every one of you to contact local legislators and ask them to have Pennsylvania move into the modern age of criminal justice with that. About 30 other states right now allow for that. Pennsylvania is, again, one of the last. The last piece of information that I'd really like to drive home to you in terms of my wish list, I would love to see strangulation be a felony. In roughly about 38 states, strangulation is a felony. In New York, in 2010, it was made into a felony. What we're starting to recognize nationwide is something advocates have been saying for half a century. The intent of strangulation is homicide. It's not just harassment. It's not just an assault. There is no other reason to put your hands around the neck of somebody, including somebody you claim to love. I would love to see Pennsylvania move forward, and I'd also encourage you, please, to call your legislators about that. Let them know we think it should be a law. Give us the tools to hold these men accountable for their behavior, and women accountable for their behavior, and prosecute them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a couple little pieces of information for you. I want to make sure that you get information from Access over here on the purple tables. They also have some goodies to help advertise the awareness kickoff. I would encourage each and every one of you to wear your ribbons with pride. Somebody asks you about it, let them know what you're here for. Let them know what the ribbon's here for. Let them know that they can join the fight too. Okay? Purple ribbons are over there. There will be a number of events, and I'm hoping that Kristen has some information about that for me, or she's going to bring some information along about events that will be occurring all during the month of October, trying to highlight and bring more awareness to the domestic violence movement and the plight of our victims here. Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, at this point, I am going to turn the microphone over to Kristen Seacrest from Access of York.
I'm just amazed with how many purple shirts out there for this kickoff for the October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You know, the United States named October Domestic Violence Awareness Month. However, it's an issue affecting many individuals and families all year long, 365 days. Public awareness is crucial in keeping domestic violence issues in the attention of our lawmakers. And again, thank you to those of you that are here today representing that area. And on the national and state agendas. Both national and local organizations not only aim to help aid victims of domestic abuses, but also work tirelessly to promote its cause and the need for diligent awareness. So it is a critical national problem that affects us all, in every community, in every workplace, and in every school. Many believe education is the key to opening the door to a healthy and productive dialogue about domestic violence. Not only must the public be aware through media and advertising campaigns, but it's important that individuals understand the signs, the symptoms, and the ramifications of this serious issue. This is especially true for those in unhealthy relationships. All of you here right now know how much needs to be done to take meaningful steps to end domestic violence. We need tough law enforcement, aggressive prosecutions, effective prevention programs, and available shelters or services for families in this type of distress. Most importantly, we need to ensure that more people know and understand that domestic violence is not a private matter. In domestic violence situations, silence can have disastrous consequences. Last year, right here in York County, Access York sheltered 535 people. That meant men, women, and their children. We served over 2,500 new and continuing individuals. Wow, that's a lot of people. So take a moment today, look at the information that is available to you on the tables, and sign up. Take the pledge that says you are helping to end domestic violence in York County. As JR stated, there's a lot of information about a lot of the different events. Today is our kickoff. We also will be present at the York Women's Show. We also be available through a lot of the different schools in the area. We also have a Ride for Awareness, which is a horse show, which is available. We also will be doing a program with WellSpan Health System called But I Love Him. And that program works with parents and their teens, because one of the things that we need to do is to educate our teens about what is healthy and what isn't, what is healthy. So take a moment today. If you have any questions, please by all means go over to the table, look what information is available. And if you have any questions, please ask any of us in the purple t-shirts. And if you'd like to get one, please let us know. Thank you.
Thought you were done with me, didn't you? Ladies and gentlemen, the next step today, I'd like to introduce somebody who, like our commissioners and like so many other faces that I see in the crowd, has been here before, and she's done an absolutely fabulous job here in terms of trying to share with us her experiences through words. I'm always really jealous when I read poetry and when I hear poetry, because to be able to craft language the way that poets do is truly an art form, and I know that my writing will never ever rise to that level. But I'd like you to turn your attention to our next speaker. Her name's Aretha Brown, and I'd like to ask Ms. Brown to come on up. She's going to speak to you a little bit and share with you her experiences. Absolutely fabulous in the past, and I know she's going to really knock us dead here again today. So thank you for being here, Aretha.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. We are the victims. We come in many shapes and sizes and colors and complexions and many different backgrounds. We are the children. We are the parents. We are the mothers, the fathers. You don't know who we are, but you may be able to recognize them. I realize that you've begun to internalize the verbal insults, the accusations and the lies. I can see that by the distressed look in your eyes. He's wrong, but you apologize. Just add ice. This poem is about when it's time, you know. You get up and you go. I was attracted to him like a moth to a flame. He laid hands and laid claims. Exotic streams began to flow through extreme arid regions. I came so that I could bear witness, a product of imagination or sickness, but even I could not get this. I observed the vapor rise off of his flyness. I quickly realized in order to breathe, I had to see myself free. Seduced, I became fixated. My wingspan shortened as I waited. In order to increase my life expectancy, I had to rely and reflect on me. Just add ice, I thought. Keep going even if they don't see what you're doing. If it gets too hot, just chill. My chrysalis was made to protect me. It would allow me to grow and escape when prepared to fly. So I wondered why. Why had I reverted back to a stage, following the same exact pattern, when I knew the time? A time where there was excuses for such a rage. When I look back, I was not in my natural state. I had to become dismayed at the delay, but I was undergoing a transformation, and this was only a phase. I had to be broken down to comprehend. Black butterflies emerged from cocoons much later than too soon, and I assume that adding ice will not be in the last season. It won't come from the greenhouse effect. It won't be during the increase of precipitation during the monsoon. It'll be when my soul suffices on ice. It'll be when the Creator says play nice. It'll be when the Creator says my soul ablaze, and I amazed will hear the phase, just add ice. Thank you.
I told you. Aretha, thank you very much. I really appreciate having you here. I do. Nobody can inspire us like you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'm very, very proud to introduce to you our commissioners. Commissioner Riley, Commissioner Hoke, and Commissioner Cronster are going to come up, and there'll be a proclamation concerning domestic violence awareness. Gentlemen.
On behalf of the commissioners, we're happy to be here today, and I'm honored to read this proclamation, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, October 2012. Whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that has devastating effects on our families and our community. Approximately 10% of students nationwide report being physically hurt by their boyfriend or their girlfriend in the past 12 months. Domestic violence incidents account for the largest category of calls to police each year. Every year in the United States, about 1.5 million women and more than 800,000 men are raped or physically assaulted by an intimate partner. 3 to 10 million children witness domestic violence each year. Domestic violence costs businesses in the United States $3 to $5 billion each year in lost productivity and absenteeism. It is important that we recognize the dedication and success of Access York and the Victim Assistance Center, programs of the YWCA York, including its Still Waters program in Hanover and the YWCA of Hanover Safe Home and the York County Task Force on Domestic Violence. Only a coordinated community effort will put an end to domestic violence. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of York County, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim October 2012 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourage all citizens to sign the pledge that acknowledges that ending domestic violence begins with me. Display purple ribbons to show their support of the efforts to end domestic violence, and diligently work towards the elimination of personal violence against all people. Given this day in York in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on the 27th day of September in the year of our Lord 2012, and it's signed by all 3 of the York County Commissioners. Thank you.
With that being said, the next person that I would like to introduce is a very special person. She's very courageous. She's been an inspiration. We actually have Kamala Washington, who is a survivor.
Good afternoon. September 16, 2011, I was shot by my husband. We had a domestic dispute, and he went and purchased a gun, and he came back to the house and he shot me in front of my child. I was chased, I ran, I fought for my life that day, and it's a day that I'll never forget, but it's a day that changed my life and turned me into a stronger person. It made me realize my strength as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as a friend. And it made me dedicate myself to bringing awareness to domestic violence. When I started to realize the pain that I was going through and the pain that I would continue to deal with for the rest of my life, I decided that I couldn't deal with knowing that there were other women and men out in the world that would also have to deal with that pain. It's something that can't be described. I can't explain it. I can't express exactly how I felt because those feelings are just too complex. But what I can say is that with the help of Access York, my family and my friends, I am here. I'm here, I'm strong, and I will always remember what happened to me because it happened for a reason, and God is using me as his ship to deliver a message to people that we are strong, that domestic violence is not right. We do need to have more awareness. We do need to have stricter laws. People do need to be punished for what they have done. And I've seen it within myself, the legal process, and how things can be very strenuous, very confusing, and sometimes it seems unfair because there is no amount of time that my husband could ever spend in jail that would make me feel better for what he's done to me and my son. But with the help of God and a community and all of the things that Access York has brought to us, and the help of JR and Amy Eister with the District Attorney's Office, I'm a survivor. I'm not a victim. And I hate when people say that they are a victim of domestic violence, because as long as you're strong and you keep persevering through life, you're not a victim, you're a survivor. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point I'd like to introduce Mayor of York City. Kim Bracey is going to come up and address you and support the event as well, as she always has. Thank you, Mayor Bracey.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your continued support of domestic violence awareness. It is extremely important in our community. As we've heard today, the unfortunate presence of domestic violence continues to affect families and our entire community. YWCA and Access York cannot be expected alone in their efforts to end domestic violence. It will take all of us. As you all have heard me say so many times, it takes a community to make the community that we want. This is one of those times as well. Collectively, we all must become aware, engaged, and steadfast in sharing the truth about domestic violence and its effects. Today, I'm calling on our community at large to take the front seat in erasing the generational and societal curses of domestic violence that are present in our community. By being willing to empower others to stand up and speak about domestic violence, this is our community. These are our neighbors, these are our friends, these are our family members, and each of us should be present and playing an active role in ending domestic violence. There are small things that we as a community can do and have the ability to have a great impact and effect on someone's life. For example, our business community can proudly display our purple ribbons and share them with their clients or their employees. Our faith-based community can choose to offer purple ribbons to their congregants on Sunday, and even focus a sermon during the month of October on this very important issue that affects our community. And our schools and our young people, they should have programs that welcome the prevention and educational programming specifics to domestic violence, as we've already heard talked about. We need to talk about that in our classrooms. We need to talk about that at our dinner tables with our young people. And lastly, as individuals, we can proudly display the ribbons ourselves, share information with our family and friends. At the end of the day, it's not about what they've done, it's about what you have done to end domestic violence. Because after all, ending domestic violence begins with me. Thank you all so very much again for your continued work in this very important cause. Thank you. I get a gift too, they tell me. Kristen?
Okay. We've been working with the Allstate Foundation, and last year they started a campaign called the purplepurse.com. Basically what happens is Allstate Foundation has picked 14 YWCAs nationwide to receive funds from their organization, from this campaign. And we have been fortunate to be one of those 14 YWCAs right here in York to actually be able to receive money. The purse is, again, the purplepurse.com. If you haven't seen it, go on Facebook. You can also see that through the local YWCA's website. But what I'd like to do today is pass this purse off to Kim Bracey, and I know she told me she would like to actually keep it, but I told her the point of this is actually to pass it on from person in person. Access York, which is a program the YWCA, can actually receive up to $10,000, which we all know with the way the economic times are nowadays, every little bit helps. So if you have any questions about that particular campaign, please talk to one of us locally here at the YWCA. Kim?
Thank you. Okay, how many ladies out there like this? Come on, raise your hands. And Queena, get every name, because I am going to pass this along, and we're going to raise much more than that. But this is sharp, right? And I was like, this is mine to keep. She said, no. So I will pass it on, graciously accept it on behalf of the city, and we will pass it on and do our part. Thank you.
So it all comes down to this. What about me? What can I do? What can you do? I've given you a couple indicators of what I'd like to see you do at this point, but there are a couple other things that I'd like to mention to you. End of April, beginning of May every year is a great fundraiser for Access called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. I've already talked to the legal director, Rick, legal director of Access, the victim services at the Y, and I've already thrown down the gauntlet. I've already started raising money. Rick's way behind at this point. Every Friday, the staff of my office is actually selling ice cream and pie and cake, and I understand we're doing Taco Thursdays, all in an attempt to raise as much money as possible. Last year, Chief, I'm very proud to tell you that some of your detectives walked with me, and I understand this year that if we raise enough money, some of them might actually don a dress as opposed to just the high heels. Nothing like seeing a tough homicide detective in a dress and a pair of high heels to inspire confidence, right? I'd like to see more of you out there. I'd love to see more of you out there. It hurts. Be careful. What else can you do? Tell your family we don't hit each other. We don't. You know, all the laws in the world, because I mentioned them earlier, are only going to do so much. I brought a copy of tomorrow's court docket. Every Friday morning is ICC Friday, PFA Violation Friday. I'd love to tell you that I have my Friday mornings off because there are no PFA violations in this county, but I'm not a very good liar. Every single Friday, 50 Fridays a year. That's got to start somewhere. Talk to your brothers. Talk to your dad. Talk to your grandfather. Talk to your sons. We don't use our fists, particularly not with a relationship, not with somebody we love. Ladies, don't tolerate it. Don't let a man put his hands on you. Don't go back. Talk to the Access. Talk to your girlfriends. Let them know your experience so they can use that to develop the inner strength necessary for them to move on. That's one of the reasons I'm always so proud to hear Aretha speak. You know, I can stand up here all day long and my words won't ring in your ears the way that hers will. And my hope is always that when you listen to her, you feel the same thing that I do, and that's the need to change. So that's what I'm charging you with today. Go out there and affect change. In a society that opposes oppression, true freedom cannot come until the smallest no longer feels that oppression. I want you to go out and make that happen. Make it happen with us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.